all right. Here we are from the margins with James Lamont and David Washington. It is great to be back with you guys. This is our first broadcast, our first recording after the election. And I'm not shocked of the results across the board because we've been doing this for years and we've been discussing what's been happening. Let's start with the very top of the ticket, Jimmy, and let's work our way down to the local level and see where the conversation takes us. What say you on the Trump victory?
Okay, let's start from the top. Not a criticism to Kamala, but to her staff. Not a criticism to Kamala, but to Biden. Not a criticism to Kamala, but it's enough is enough. Let's start. Biden won South Carolina after he had lost the first five primaries. Then the pandemic came in. Cuomo suspended his primary in the state of New York with the so-called pandemic thing and other, and basically uh, the party declared without any more primaries, Biden the victor. At that time, people were angry with Trump, like they were angry with him. Trump did not know how to do a campaign. He went out there and basically thought it was in the bag, so he didn't really have to kill himself too much, and it wasn't in the bag. So basically, he got in there. Uh, Democrats keep telling me that he did a great job. Look, neither did Biden nor Trump do a great job. In politics, there's one word that people forget, and I'm going to teach them right now: perceptions. The precept was that the economy was screwed up because everything was costing higher, the gas was higher, this was higher. So the perception is that the economy was bad. The fact that there was low unemployment and that the stock market was booming, who cares? The majority of people don't depend on the stock market, and the majority of people, all they care is how much they're paying for gas and how much they're paying for food. That's it. Those two were out of line, and there was no real, hey, let me. Second of all, everybody knew that for the last 2 years of Biden, he's not there. He hasn't been there. I mean, what you saw in the debate, let's stop pretending that that happened that night. That had been happening for a year, year and a half. We were hearing the rumors and this and that. But yet the party, no, he is solid. No, we're behind him. No, CNN and MSNBC and everybody who's saying that you're wrong. Blah, blah, blah. 4 months before the election, we had to remove him, and then they put down everybody's throat. Here's Kamala, who I asked this question in a very simple way. Do you really think if Kamala had gone to a primary, she would have won? My answer to you is no. She might have had the machinery behind her, but no. In the 4 years that they were in power, they did not keep their base happy. That's a factor. And they did everything to say, hey, we are good and everything else. And their campaign was, I'm not Trump. They thought that everybody did not like Trump. People don't like Trump, but he gives them hope. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Look, I hate to say this. There's three conclusions that I've reached. One, this country is not ready to have a woman. Somebody asked me, well, was it because she was African American? No, you forgot that 4 years ago, the country rejected a white woman. So let's stop pretending that it was because she was a. No, this country does not want woman president. And the proof is that Hillary did not win the female vote.
Correct.
Neither did Kamala. So basically, let's stop pretending. Second, basically nationally, for some stupid reason, it took them at the end that they started to realize that African American men were not with her. They realized it late because they got into the campaign late. I'll set that. Okay. And they had no solution for it because basically the party has always taken for granted the African American vote and the Hispanic vote. Well, guess what? He who assumes the position, and there's the cause of this. They we lost because basically the campaign was "I am not Trump." That was it. Oh,
Explanation point. Yes.
there was plans out there, and there was this, and there was that. But if you listen to her speeches, it was basically "I'm not Trump." Uh, was
I
she
agree.
tied to Biden's fiasco? Yes. Should she have been tied to Biden's fiasco? If I was planning strategy as a and you, sure,
Oh yeah.
that's the plan. Do it. So basically, yes. My concern is this: national or the Democratic Party sits down, do some self search into its soul, be critical, and changes drastically, or proves eyesight correctly that the definition of insanity is repeating the same act, expecting a different result. The Democratic Party has taken three areas that it's mistaken. It's pushed away the white vote. It has.
Working class white vote.
Okay. It has taken for granted the African American and
And
the
Hispanic.
Hispanic vote, but not worked it. So, next program, you and I are going to come up with 15 points to save the Democratic Party, the National Democratic Party. The following program will take 15 points to save the Florida Democratic Party, and then the other program we could how do we save the local Democratic parties? Okay.
Jimmy, I'm taking my notes and I'm checking off every point that you made that I agree with. And I want to highlight the Hispanic vote because Trump overperformed with the Hispanic vote than he did in 2016 and 2020. He did better across the board. There's no doubt about it. He did better across the board, thus his electoral landslide and winning the popular vote. He did well because, and this is coming from all across the political spectrum that I'm aware of, and the data continues to come in, and everyone's opinion continues to come in. He talked about prosperity. That's it. And like you said, Jimmy, there was this fear of Trump that was drummed and drummed and drummed across the country from sea to shining sea by the Harris Walz campaign and their surrogates. And then again, also the fear campaign when President Obama came out and spoke directly to men, specifically black men. It was a shameful moment for Democrats. It was a shameful moment for President Obama. And it was a shameful moment for men and black men in particular and Hispanic men. And I hope that we don't see that anymore because we are seeing the bleeding of men from the Democratic Party, whether it's the national or local parties, we're seeing the bleeding of men from the party locally. And specifically, I want to touch upon this directly when we start talking at the very local level, Hispanic men, but Hispanic families in general. Again, my fiance and her family, they're Mexican American, Democrats. Guess who they voted for?
Trump.
Yes, sir. Without hesitation.
And when they get deported, then they'll change their mind. No, no, no.
I see what you're saying. And you know something, Jimmy? They talked about that. Let's talk about that. They talked about that. And they said, okay, if someone comes knocking at the door, they're citizens. They're U.S. citizens. However, they said if there was a family member or someone that they know who is not, a U.S. citizen who is not a legal resident here or a legal migrant here, and they do know of people like that, they understand that there will be consequences. There is no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, they want people to know that they did it the right way for those who came here, like her parents, and went through the process and became citizens. There's a legal process, and therefore
Yeah.
they're just asking that
Look,
everyone do that.
it's a Hispanic phenomena because of two things. One, ignorance. Okay, look, I was born in New York. Let me start by this. I was born in New York. My birth certificate is from New York. Okay, my parents were born in New York. My grandparents were born in Puerto Rico. Okay, I went to Puerto Rico when I was 4, and I was educated, came and moved here 45 years ago. Okay, the truth of the matter is that when I'm talking Spanish to my wife in a restaurant, they don't give a shit, but they give us the look. Okay, so and when I hear people, well, you have to adapt and incorporate and become part of it. To a certain part, I've heard that from African Americans saying that they should. Okay, to a Puerto Rican's immigration isn't relevant. It really is. Until recently, where 2 or 3 things have happened. Let's start by the beginning. The Senate has met. They're trying to work out who's their leader is going to be, but they've already made an agreement that they're not going to give statehood to Puerto Rico or to D.C. That's not going to be discussed, and it's not going to ever pass through. All those Puerto Ricans who voted with the idea that the Republicans would help them or Trump would help them, no. Now, I understand people who are Hispanic who've done this because it's what I call you've been indoctrinated. I did it right. You should do it right. And if your family is starving in Mexico, I don't care about that. That's not an issue. You should do it right. The fact that nobody, they're not giving citizenship for the last, and those who have a problem, yeah, uh, and that's fine, and I can understand it. The problem is that the way the party has associated is thinking that all Hispanics think the same. Look, I'll give you. I'll go a step further. I'm a political analyst for the local Telemundo, so I see the program, the news because I appear on it. So I want to see which part they cut it off and which part they put in. Just my curiosity. So I could tell you that the Democratic Party spent nothing, but nothing during the elections here on Kamala. Florida had been written off from day one. But the consequence is that the local campaigns don't have any money to put down the Democratic uh, message. So basically, the only message that they're hearing is the Republican one. That's it. Second, there is an issue that people think, and this is the problem that I have. Again, like I said, our message was, "I'm not Trump," which didn't hit anybody. But the second message that we pounded on, we lost in the state of Florida. We lost abortion,
Yes, we did.
and we lost it because basically they lied about it, and we have taken their lies. So, which is going to be my point number one next week. The truth of the matter is very simple. You took for granted the Hispanic vote. You don't work it. You don't offer an alternative. Are there Hispanics who can vote who think that, like your in laws, well, we did it correctly, so everybody else should do it? Sure. And or the ignorant people who think that homeless is a matter of poverty,
Right.
which it isn't, but they still think it's a matter of poverty. It's a matter that you've kicked out your crazy veteran relative because he's driving you crazy because he's hearing voices, and you threw him out of the house, and he prefers to be in the street, even though the VA is paying him $3,500 a month and Social Security is paying another 2,000. He has more than enough to pay rent. He prefers because that's a mental health issue. We don't address them,
Sure.
and we should. But the truth of the matter is, the Democratic Party is going to have to come up with something. Look, the Republican Party was losing because it was fragmented.
Yes.
As much as we are. Here enters Donald Trump, and I will give him credit for two things. He became the leader of the party, and a strong leader. Or you do it my way, or I will run somebody against a primary against you, and you will go nowhere.
And he
Okay?
followed through.
And he criticized Mitch McConnell. He criticized Romney. He criticized McCain. He criticized all those Republicans that he thought were holding back the party.
Like a boss.
Okay, we don't have a boss. We don't even have somebody that the Democrats can say, that's our leader. We don't. We don't
Agreed.
have a leader. We
Agreed.
have people who claim to be leaders, but I'll give you an example. Kamala's going to move to California and she's going to be forgotten as faster than she can. And if she tries to mount a campaign in 2028 to run for president, she's going nowhere. Okay? Who is going to be the president in 2028? That's a good question. We got
JD.
4 years. Do you have anybody in mind?
JD Vance right now.
No, for us, Democrats.
Shapiro. Gretch. Newsom. Escamani.
No. Can they
I,
control? Can they take over the people? Can they have? Look, the last candidate that we had with charisma was the first term of Obama. The second
that's
term of
correct.
Obama, most people will tell you, his charisma disappeared. Uh, Same with Clinton. His first, he had charisma. After that, we go back to Kennedy. Why? Because we don't look. Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line.
That's right.
Time that we need to fall in line and say, okay, this is our agenda. Look, woke, you're out of here. Hey,
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
you're out of here. Hey, uh, yes, we're going to discuss this, and let me give you some good values of you. You call yourself a conservative? Okay, let me teach you what a conservative is. Conservative does not want the government telling you what to do with your body. Period. This is a conservative thing, and as long as I am president, the government's not going to tell you what you're going to do with your body, and that will sell. Not a woman's right of it. Look, one thing that is proven: women don't vote for women at a national level. They do in Orange County, which is a phenomenon, but they don't do it outside. So basically, it's time to find a leader who's strong, who can control, who can not be a wussy and sit there and say, "Hey, Donald Trump, you're lying. Hey, the, JD, you're an idiot." And people say,
I.
"You mean you don't do that?" That's what Trump has been doing since 16,
That's
and the
right.
people buy it. That's
That's
what they
correct.
want to hear. But we know we are polite. Or when they go low, we go high. No, no.
And
When
how
they go
look
low,
how
we go
quickly that
low.
changed. Look how quickly that changed.
Yeah.
And to throw a couple of more names out there, Jimmy. Um, J.B. Prisker, the governor of Illinois, maybe in 2028, or who I really like, and I was introduced to him during the Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee, but the good mayor of Milwaukee, Cavalier Johnson. I like his poise. I like the fact that he made safety first. I like the fact that Milwaukee turned out to be a good experience for Milwaukeeans and also Wisconsians. Is that a word? For the residents of Wisconsin. He's a Democrat, and he is a young black man who I think would be a great candidate at the national level.
I have no doubt. The question is, does that the new person that we're going to have to put up there, and he go toe to toe, call JD Vance a liar, go toe to toe and say, hey, these people have lied to you, and this is what's happening. Hey, let me go and talk to the Hispanic male. Let me talk to the African American male. Let me talk to the white male. Let me talk to you as equal. Because to a certain degree, that's what Trump does. He talks to everybody the same way. And if he doesn't like you, he insults you. And people are
Yeah,
fine with that. The politics of the days of the gentleman are over.
that's right, sir.
Are
Politics is
over.
a blood
So
sport.
you're gonna have to have somebody say, "Hey, JD Vance, you're an asshole."
Mhm.
Oh, we do that in a Democratic convention. Well, you don't do that. Yes, you do. I'm sorry, I
Mhm.
do. If you know what, I got in trouble the first time in the Democratic Party because I called somebody out, and I was told I shouldn't call them out because he was gay. And I said, "Well, wait a minute. What came out of his mouth, was that true? No, it was a lie." Okay, so if he was a straight man, the, the way I call him out, would that have been fine? Sure. Look, that's the other thing. Politically correct is over. Okay, it's over. We need to sit down and go out and campaign in a completely different way.
Agreed. Agreed.
And we also need to understand one thing that is not understood yet. This idea that all politics are local, Trump has proven it, maybe not. Not at the presidential level. Maybe if you want to get elected in Orange County for a position, yeah.
Sure, sure. And to speak to the national politics, that is a good segue into Florida and Orange County, Central Florida politics. The issue of abortion that was usurped by um, issues of the economy, issues of immigration, issues of protecting our democracy. I believe that the Democrats, especially at the national level, overplayed their hand with galvanizing support at the national level on election day, as abortion being the leading cause for people to vote in Vice President Harris.
Yeah. And there's a way to take care of all of that.
Hmm.
If it is true, because the numbers are not finalized, okay, that the Republicans take over the House, which it looks like it's kind of close at this point,
Right.
uh, go along with their crazy immigration issues and go out and campaign, say, hey, that's what you wanted. I gave it to you. Because realistically, I don't think the Republicans are going to do anything about immigration because they need it as a platform to run. When they're going to sit down and say to the president, hey,
Wow.
just like you killed the other thing, mass deportations are good, but unless we pass some legislation to prevent people from coming in, all you're going to be doing is taking out 10 while 20 come in. Uh, and he's going to probably say, I'm fine with that because all I care about is being able to make an issue out of it.
That's politics. Unfortunately, that is politics, and that could be what may happen. And that's unfortunate.
No,
That's
no,
unfortunate.
look, if you read history, if there is a mass deportation, and if they use Eisenhower's example, which was massive, anybody who had a last name in Spanish, they were knocking on the door and asking them to prove that they were U.S. citizens. Uh, that's going to be interesting. Uh,
Right, right,
they're
Jimmy.
going, yeah,
But in recent U.S. history, Representative Barbara Jordan was tasked by President Clinton to help come up with a comprehensive immigration plan. And when she did present it, to President Clinton and the rest of the world. She said that America will have to make these hard decisions or we will be suffering later. And we're suffering later. It was a tough policy, and it was a policy that was established by the Clinton administration. So are we just pushing the inevitable back, kicking the can down the road?
Well, look, there's two things. Bush had the House and the Senate, and he didn't pass any reform. The truth of the matter is, we perceive it as a problem.
Hmm.
We do, and I'll give you and I'll grant you that. Now, I'll say something that might get offensive, but this morning I got up to come to my office to record this program, and I passed by two houses down my neighbor, and they're doing a new roof.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
And now the people on that roof speak English, okay?
Hmm.
Uh, so if we start kicking all these people out, are you guys ready to get on a roof? Are you guys ready to go collect the oranges here in Florida? Are you going to go collect the celery? Are you going to go collect the strawberries and raspberries that you eat? Or just decide not to do that anymore and bring them from Chile and other countries and pay double? But who cares? We got rid of the Mexicans. We're good.
But but Jimmy, let me push back against that because there are instruments, tools, resources in place to allow um, migrants to work the fields, to work on the rooftops, and so forth and so on under a certain work permit. I mean, we do it for student visa, work visas, work permits. Um, and is it 2A status, 2B status? I can't recall which Cedra was here to help me with that. But isn't there a mechanism in place to continue to have those migrants who are willing to do this work continue to work? And if not, can not just the Trump administration, but can any administration create that special class of workers, of residents who are here for those purposes and allowed to do that work and remain here legally?
Okay, you're partially correct.
Thank you. Okay.
There is a mechanism. Unfortunately, the mechanism, you have to go and apply. You have to have somebody who's going to give you a job and somebody who is going to pay you. The reality of it is that construction work is not what we tend to think of. Construction work is like right now. No company has people hired. This is the real world. I mean, nobody has 25 people there expecting next week to have enough work for all 25 people. No, what they do is they go into labor pools and they say, hey, send me 6 roofers because I have a roof to put in District 5. Okay, here's 5 roofers.
Okay.
Hotels today don't have people who do housekeeping. You call the labor pool and they send you people to clean the rooms. So the reality is that nobody's going to give you a visa to come here to do these jobs because they have to promise that they're going to have you full-time working here. Second, they have to prove that there's nobody else in this country who's willing to do construction or to do housekeeping, which is
Right.
a very high level to prove. And the third thing is, this is the real economy that people don't understand. If they do it that way, then they have to pay them a certain amount of money. And they have to publish how much you're going to pay them. If they go to the labor pool, or let me go and be more realistic about the world. If they go to Home Depot and they stop and say, techero, which means roofers, and they get 6 guys, and then they say, well, I'm willing to pay you this much, and they either say yes or no. Then they take them to the site, they pay them in cash, They paid the guys who put in your roof less than $3,000, but they charged the company 30.
Mm.
That's the way of the real world.
Right.
So, are these people going to be willing to request people? No, no. I mean, ask the farmer if he requests this. No, he doesn't. The reality of the market is okay. They know to move, like, for example, right now to Okeechobee County because the picking of the oranges starts during this time. So they go there and they go and they sit at a place, and here comes John Smith, who owns the farm, says, I need 25 of you guys. I'm going to pay you so much and so much. And your job is going to last 8 weeks. And they come in and they do the work. It's not like it's a job that's going to be there 24 12 months of a year,
Right.
80, 40 hours. These are not those type of jobs. So that's the problem. Uh, but this is the thing that you have to ask yourself. This is the hypocrisy of this country. These people are here and they're working, and the employers who hire them, they know they're here undocumented. They don't care. That's our dirty little secret. And that's why at times when Scott wanted to pass a legislation here, the people who opposed him was the Florida Chamber of Commerce, the Agriculture Division said, don't do it. That's why when they saw that it was going to be more difficult for people to come into this country, yes, Trump said kill it because we need to run on that. So is it an issue that a fear that we need to run on? Yeah, we do. Can you apply for a visa? Yes.
Right.
Do you get them? No. Right? You want to hear a joke? Telemundo's about to come out with an article where four Puerto Ricans who are married to people who are here undocumented are
Okay.
requesting that their spouses be allowed to stay and given permission under the law.
Right.
The local statewide immigration, U.S. immigration, has answered them in writing that their application is being denied because they're not U.S. citizens.
Wow. But
But
Puerto Ricans are U.S.
they are.
citizens.
But the problem is that when people say, well, why don't you do it correctly? Okay, look, I screwed up when I was young. I did a lot of stupid things. Should I be penalized for the rest of my life? The answer to that is no.
Yeah.
Uh, Look, some of these people came over. They were desperate. They were leaving gangs. And I understand. And let me tell you something that a lot of people do not understand. More than three-quarters of the people who are here asked for asylum. They came into the border and said, "Look, I'm being prosecuted." This and they're there, and they're waiting for a hearing date. They really are, to sit down and present their claim. So when you say illegal, not really. You did come and say, "Hey, look, I got a problem. Can I come in because I'm starving down there, or because politically I'm being prosecuted, or because I'm a rape victim, or whatever?" And
Right.
sure, here's the paperwork, and you have a hearing in the next 8 or 9 years to prove your case.
Hmm. Okay.
Is that person here doing it incorrectly? The answer to that under the law is no. But we've been told that all these people are coming in, and they are. And they are. And the truth of the matter is that basically they are. And the one that we don't want to talk about is the white undocumented people that are here from Britain, from Canada, and from other parts of Europe. Those we don't talk about because those are white. And that's an issue for another day. But the truth of the matter is the party needs to get away from immigration and say, hey, we're willing to work with the Republicans to come up with some kind of compromise to work out the immigration problem. We have no problem. And you know what I would do if I was either Schumer or uh, any of the congressmen in the Congress? Present a project. Present it. This is our solution to immigration.
All right.
and then put the ball in their park.
All right. Well, here we go. We are not necessarily in uncharted waters. However, we are. America's facing one of the issues that has been at the forefront of this past election cycle, if not every year, and people are going to be looking for a solution.
Yeah, and let it come from the Democrats.
Hmm.
Let's surprise them. Let it come from the Democrats. Let's put out a solution. There
Correct.
is a solution. Just that we think that if we put a solution, we're going to piss off the Hispanics. No, you're not. I'm Hispanic.
Oh,
You're not going to piss me off.
they want solutions also.
But
The Democrats have to stop being in their feelings. This fear, they move in fear, and it is mind-boggling, and that's why they don't succeed at times.
yeah, and that is true.
And speaking of Democrats, let's bring it home, Jimmy. Let's talk about the Florida Democrats and the local parties. Um, Florida is still under Republican control, from the governor's mansion to the Supreme Court to the legislature. The Republicans held on to their supermajority, and it wasn't even close. Locally, there were 5 districts that were targeted to be flipped, and based on the Democrats' small victories in Jacksonville, the Jacksonville mayor's race, and also the special House District 35 race, they thought they were, rolling. But they tend to forget, and we talked about this, that there was about a 900,000 to 1 million registered voter gap between the Republicans and the Democrats, with the Republicans taking the lead. How can you affect any change outside of solid blue counties like Orange County to move forward, to be relevant again? And we're seeing Miami-Dade is still red. What does the what do the Democrats do? And I guess that kind of goes to our 20-point plan we discussed about 2 years ago, and now soon a 15-point plan nationally.
Well, let's start from, if you want to go, the Florida Democratic Party. Is there such a thing? Because I don't know of it. Uh, the Florida, I'll ask Sammy, and I've asked him this: how much help has he got from this Florida Democratic Party? And he was very polite and tried to be diplomatic as a good Democrat. Said, "Well, but they help a little. They don't help at all. If anything, they try to suck money out of the parties, local parties." Look, the Florida Democratic Party should be raising money and not wasting it on Republican consultants. Oh, did I call them Republican? Yes, I do. Because all your advice is bad. They need to walk away from us trying to be politically correct. Look, the last chairman, they kicked him out because he had on his desk 2 boobies. I'm sorry. The Republicans have a person who goes 20 minutes talking about another man's penis. So, but we have a problem with a man who had on this 2 boobies. Uh, Stop it. Okay, stop it. Okay, this is the problem that you have. You didn't discuss his qualification. We removed the senator from Minnesota who had a picture taken in poor taste of trying to say that he was touching a woman's breast while she was sleeping. Poor taste. Was he a good senator? Was he a competent senator? Yes. We're uh, basically, again, you have a president who's been convicted of grabbing women. They don't care. We are the party of civility. No, we're the party of extreme. Look, I want to know what's in the person's mind. Now, we elected Nikki. Nikki helped get elected the mayor of Jacksonville, and after that, she's done nothing. Okay? I'm not even sure if she's up for re-election, but she's done nothing. Right now, she is the one person responsible for destroying the Florida Democratic Party by
Sure.
taking away the committeeman and committeewoman because they were too powerful. Okay, and now saying you Orange County, you're gonna have to find 25 people to to be state committee man and 25 women to be committee women. Seminole County, you're going to have to find 14. Osceola, you're going to have to find X amount. And basically know that the more people you split the vote up with, the weaker it's going to be, unless the Florida Democratic Party gets a strong leader, which none of them is going to be.
Correct. Correct.
So the Florida Democratic Party is going to be useless for the next 4 years. So this is my advice. Learn from Orange County. Sammy, today I congratulate you. You did a great job. Sammy, you have worked your butt off and delivered. So I'm going to congratulate you. But I'm going to tell Osceola and Seminole, learn. First of all, you need to get your candidates elected so you can get some funds back from the supervisor of election. Second, you need to find ways to raise serious money so you could do a campaign. Basically, you need to help out during this time and with training, with helping them how to submit financial things. But most important, find somebody who can help you with recruiting. Okay? And sometimes it's as simple as being in a meeting of the CRC and turning around saying, hey, Nicole, you should run for District 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kelly, you should run for District 5.
Mm-hmm.
And be available to them and help them out and be invited on December 4th to their swearing in. Look, for some reason, candidates in the other areas fall on their lap. Okay, it's mind-boggling to me that 60% of the registered voters in Osceola County are Hispanic.
Yes.
Yet there's only 2 county commissioners that are Hispanic. The city of Kissimmee, which is a joke, there's 2 or 3. But in Kissimmee, it's an 80% racial voters. Okay, so even 3 is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
That the local Democratic Party is run by people who do not work the Hispanic vote. They don't care about the Hispanic vote. And we lost the Hispanic vote because what you don't cultivate, you lose. So Osceola County, you could also learn from Sammy. At this point, this is what I would advise the counties. Orange, Osceola, Seminole. You might want to invite Volusia
Mm-hmm.
in case just to help them out. And you might want to invite Lake. Create a coalition. Make a mini convention. Work together. Get your act together. Buy from the same provider. Don't try to be your own person. I'm sorry.
Jimmy, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Work together. But for
Work
some
together.
reason, the party in the state level is against that because it sees it as a grab of power. Look, can I tell you how I got elected secretary of the state party?
How's that, Jimmy?
The first term that I was committee man, I worked and sat down, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, in a hotel room of the hotel where we had our meeting to elect our chair, sat Volusia, Hillsborough, Pinellas, Orange, Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade. There, you had all the necessary votes that you needed. But you could go and I said, hey, Seminole, you want to be in the loop? Sure. You're going to vote for us. Oh, so you want to be in the loop? Sure. You're going to vote for it. And I presented, between all 3 of those counties, a strong slate. At the same time, I took leadership positions of working things out, and I recruited Alma Gonzalez as our treasurer to have at least 1 Hispanic on the board. Okay. Second time around, Ron Smith was the chairman, and he was quitting, and we were going to replace her with Anna. Okay. At that point, I met in my room with all the seven. We checked the chair, we checked the secretary, and we checked the treasurer, and we checked who were going to be the state committee man. I mean, the delegates, men and women, we elected them there. And I was the person who was in the back and forth. Simply, that's what they were trying to destroy. And that's what they accomplished to destroy. And by doing that, data became irrelevant. And then when they became irrelevant, all the people from data.
Right. Jimmy, I like the idea of like the DECs becoming more regional so that they can be more effective across more counties. I like that idea. But like you said, I think the state leadership is against that, seeing that the formation or the recreation of the role of the state committee man and committee woman has changed now. And then also, kudos to Samuel for at least keeping the ship steady. There was really no gains and no losses. They pretty much came out even as far as Orange County, Central Florida, particularly those 5 seats that were targeted for to be flipped. Orange County is going to be blue regardless. So the wins by Karen Castledeno for Supervisor of Elections was a given. The win by Monique Worrell for State's Attorney Circuit 9 was a given. Whether she's going to be in that seat as the Monique Worrell of old versus the Monique Worrell of new is going to it will find out after she's sworn in. However, at least here in Central Florida, there weren't too many breaks towards irrelevancy. Democrats, at the end of the day, Jimmy, are irrelevant, and I am heartbroken because of my proximity to the Puerto Rican community and larger the Hispanic community. I am heartbroken that the Hispanic population was largely ignored by the party, and that there is less representation of the Puerto Rican and Hispanic demographic here in Central Florida. Heartbroken.
Yeah. And to be quite honest, it's even more heartbreaking that basically at this point, we are about to realize that either we do something strong or they're going to be able to accomplish what they wanted, which is to divide the Hispanic vote and to divide the African American vote.
Yeah.
I don't think they've done that as much as they thought they could in Orange County, but it's time that we're going to have to do something. And if this something's going to have to be drastic.
I agree,
I'm
Jimmy.
sorry, Democrats, stop daydreaming. Your message sucks. Period. I'm not Trump. Let's go with the abortion. Sucks. That people want to hear about their pocket. They want to hear about their job. They want to hear about their family. They want to hear about education and so on. The rest, they don't care about. Most Americans have been sold a bag of BS, and we have to either join the bag of BS or say that's BS. One or the other. Okay? But we cannot no longer try to pretend we're the elite, we are this and that. The days of when they go low, we go high. No, when they go low, we go lower. Because basically, look, I people learn. You have a person goes on and rambles, talks about a man's penis, talks about that this guy's an idiot, that he's going to kill this other guy, he's going to masturbate. That's what they want to hear. Okay, they want to hear a strong leader, not somebody who is saying, I'm better than the other guy. Because they don't think you're better than the other guy.
Jimmy, this has been
Inexperience?
an experience, and an enjoyable one, and a knowledgeable one, and tactful too. And I know, Jimmy, I do know that our content is being seen by the people that should be listening and should be listening. Um, it's made in love and hope and copium.
Now, who's the sarcastic one?
But I mean, in reality, we want to bring our knowledge and experience to those who want to listen and learn and be mentored and trained and educated for a better Democratic Party, but more importantly, a better community. And I, again, we could talk about this all day. I'm hot out here, Jimmy, but I want to thank you again. It's reaching into lunchtime, and I think I have to take someone to the airport. But I really appreciate it, Jimmy. We got some homework. 15 points to save the National Democratic Party. Maybe we'll revisit the 20 points we discussed over, I think, close to 2 years ago. However, for our Democratic friends who are crashing out, hey, we live to see another day. You just have to put in the work. Final
Correct.
words, Jimmy?
That's just turn around and when things don't go well, analyze why they didn't and fix it. And that's all we need to do.
Amen to that. And we'll make sure we get those shorts out and the reels and all the short form content that'll get people get more eyes on our content and get people to start listening. So
And those of you who like us, subscribe. No, we don't have a
yes,
problem with that. As a matter of
in,
fact, we love when you subscribe. And you can put
indeed.
a like, or if for that matter, if you don't like us, at least you can give
Let
me a
us know.
dislike. At least I know that you're hearing me.
Right. Let us know. And I'd love to hear from the comments. And please let us know what you think. Bring your facts, not your feelings. But, being a past social worker and therapist, I'll listen to your feelings. But again, please like, share, hit the notification button, but more importantly, comment. We love to engage with you. And again, Jimmy, as Jimmy said, let us know. Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
And
no problem.
indeed. So, on that note, this is From the Margins with James LaFont and yours truly, David Washington, and we are out.